Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our first morning session for July. I don't try to talk too much during these sessions because I have not woken up enough. But I do want to just mention I did start my bleed this morning. So I will talk you through some inversions during our sun salutations, but I'm not actually going to demonstrate them. So um, hopefully I'll give a good enough description that you can still understand what I am suggesting that you do. And so if anybody is joining me live, please post in the comments. Let me know you're here, and I'd love to know who is here live, just to make sure, just to see who's decided to join this morning. And sorry for the delay. I had to get my equipment set up, and so I'm hoping to do these classes at least through the month of July, and if we get a decent turnout, then I'll continue doing it longer than that. But that's the plan for right now. And let me grab my mouse actually. So we'll head over to our mats, and we're going to start in a seated cross-legged position. And especially in the morning when the hips are tight, it can be helpful for the body if we have something to sit on. Blanket here that I'm going to sit on. You want to actually check your alignment. So when you're in seated cross-legged pose, if your knees are up higher than your hips, you want to actually level them. So you can kind of see this blanket as actually not quite bringing me up as high as I would like, but that's what I have, so I'm going to make it work. Let me get my watch started so I can keep track of the time. So with the craziness just going on in the world lately, it's really important to ground, to connect with the earth. Sometimes when I feel particularly wound up or anxious, I'll just go sit or stand outside in my bare feet and just have that skin to earth connection. Um, and I know some people probably think that that's strange, but I find that it really helps me. It really works. It just helps me connect with the earth on a deeper level. And it helps me, even while things might be going crazy up here, the earth is still here. It's still supporting us. So as you're seated in your cross-legged position this morning, really try to root those sits bones into the mat, into the earth, whatever it is you happen to be sitting on this morning, almost like you have roots growing from your sits bones, connecting deep into the core of the earth. So you'll root down through your sits bones and then sit up nice and tall, extending the spine, almost like you have a string pulling your crown of your head towards the sky. Begin breathing here, lengthening those inhales and exhales. And you can, for your hands, you can actually place them in your lap. You could place them with the palms facing down on the thighs, or you can place the palms facing up if you're in more of a receptive feeling this morning. If your jaw is kind of clenched or tight, you want to release that. Just allow it to soften. And actually allow both sets of teeth, the top and the bottom, to part from each other. If you're pressing the tongue to the roof of the mouth, see if you can let that go and just let it kind of hover in space inside your mouth. So throughout our practice this morning, anytime you feel distracted or you notice distraction, just see if you can bring your focus back to your breath in the present moment. Then we'll go ahead and bring in some more movement. So we'll move into tabletop position with our knees under our hips and our wrists under our shoulders. To move whatever you might be sitting on out of the way. So we're going to press the shins and the tops of the feet into the mat. And we're going to set up for a few rounds of cat-cow here. So we'll inhale, lift the forehead and the tailbone towards the sky. Exhale, pull the belly button back towards the spine, round the back. Inhale to come up. Exhale to pull back. Inhale to come up. Exhale to pull back. Inhale up. Exhale back. And then take 2 more, following your own breath at your own pace. And then we'll all meet back in tabletop position. Next, we'll take just a few hip circles. So we'll drop the hips and the butt back towards the heels and then come forward towards the hands. Or you can do what I like to call the hula hoop, where you lift your tailbone towards the sky, rotate it around, bring the hips down towards the mat. Kind of like you're using a hula hoop. So either one, maybe try each one and see which one your body is craving this morning or prefers. Sometimes in yoga, go ahead and switch directions. We hold poses that maybe feel uncomfortable to us, and that's important for growth. But I think a lot of times, especially in our society, we don't give enough credit to pleasure and the joys that our body can experience. And so I think it's important to kind of tune into what your body wants, what way your body wants you to move in certain poses. So next we'll do a little abdominal wake up. We're going to step our left foot back behind us. We'll bring the right fingertips out in front of us. We'll take a big inhale, and on the next exhale, we're going to lift the right arm. If you'd like, you can also lift the left leg. I'm going to keep my foot on the mat, however, because I'm on my bleed. If you feel a little unsteady, press that right shin into the mat and pull the belly button in towards the spine. And then we'll exhale, lower everything down to the mat. And then we'll switch sides. So left fingertips out in front, right toes back behind us. We'll take an inhale. And then exhale, lift the left arm up alongside the left ear. You can also lift the right foot up off the mat, pressing through the heel, reaching through the fingertips. I'm going to leave my foot on the mat. Again, press that left shin into the mat if you're feeling wobbly. And then we'll exhale and lower everything down to the mat. And then we'll lower down into a child's pose. So you can keep the shins together and lower the torso down, or you can keep the big toes touching, widen the knees, and lower the torso down. The goal is for your tailbone to reach toward your heels. They don't have to touch, and that's okay. And then you're going to lower your forehead onto the mat and keep your elbows lifted up off the mat as you extend the arms out in front of you.
Then we'll inhale and we'll come back up. And then we'll step the feet up in between the hands. And we'll take a forward fold here. If your hamstrings, which are the backs of your thighs, are tight, you can bend the knees. Allow the head and the neck to lengthen towards the mat. Maybe clasp the elbows here. Rock from side to side. And we'll inhale, sweep the arms up and around. Exhale the hands to heart center. So I'm going to walk you through one sun salutation, actually demonstrating, and then the other four. I'm just going to talk you through it because on your bleed, it's not advised that you do a lot of inversion. So even that forward fold, I don't really want to hold it for too long. Forward fold, downward facing dog, those are actually inversions where your head is below your heart. So just an FYI on that if you didn't know that. So we'll inhale and sweep the arms up. Then we're going to exhale and fold forward. Again, feel free to bend the knees here if you need. Inhale, lift the torso halfway up. And then exhale, lower down to tabletop or chaturanga. So whatever's in your practice. Pull the tailbone back towards the heels and inhale as you lift the torso up into cobra. And then exhale and pull the hips back to downward facing dog. And you can go through tabletop to do that. Feel free to pedal the feet out here or walk the dog, as we like to say. Then we'll step the feet up in between the hands. Inhale, lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, sweep the arms up and around. Exhale the hands to heart center. So we'll inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale and fold forward. Inhale, lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, lower down to tabletop or chaturanga, all the way to the mat. All 10 toes pressing into the mat. Pull the tailbone towards the heels. Inhale up to cobra. And then exhale back to downward facing dog. I'm going to actually pull back to child's pose myself. Take 5 breaths here. Then we'll step the feet up in between the hands. Inhale, lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, sweep the arms up and around. Exhale the hands to heart center. So we got 3 more here. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale and fold forward. Inhale, lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, lower down to chaturanga or tabletop, and then the torso to the mat. Press those 10 toes into the mat. Pull the tailbone towards the heels. Inhale up to cobra or upward facing dog. And then exhale back to downward facing dog, pulling the hips towards the sky. I'm going to lower to child's pose here. Then we'll step the feet up to the top of the mat in between the hands. Inhale, lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, sweep the arms up and around. Exhale the hands at heart center. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale and fold forward. Inhale, lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, lower down to tabletop or chaturanga all the way to the mat. Inhale, lift up to cobra or upward facing dog. And then exhale back to downward facing dog, hips to the sky. I'm going to lower down to child's pose. Step the feet up to the top of the mat in between the hands. Inhale, lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, sweep the arms up and around. Exhale the hands to heart center. We've got one more round here, so inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale and fold forward. Inhale, lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, lower down to tabletop or chaturanga all the way to the mat. Pull the tailbone towards the heels, lift the torso into cobra or upward facing dog, and then exhale back to downward facing dog. And I'm going to lower to child's pose one more time. And then we'll step the feet up in between the hands at the top of the mat. Inhale, lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, sweep the arms up and around. Exhale the hands to heart center. So we'll take just a few breaths here in mountain pose, really rooting through those feet, lifting the quads up away from the knees. We want to be pulling our front hip bones and our front ribs towards each other, kind of a mini crunch. And you can also get this sensation by pointing your tailbone towards the heels or the ground. Allow the shoulders to glide down the back, lengthen the neck and out the crown of the head towards the sky. And then we'll go ahead and face the long side of our mat. We're going to step the feet in the center and then step the feet 3 to 4 feet apart. We're going to pick up the left heel, move it away from us a tiny bit, pick up the right toes and rotate them out. We want our hips pointing towards the upper left corner of our mat. So go ahead and place your hands on your hips and then feel free to rotate the torso back to the center. We'll inhale, bring the arms up to a T, and then exhale, extend the right arm out, and then fold at the hip joint and not the waist. For triangle pose, you're going to place your right hand on your shin or on your ankle. Just be sure to put a micro bend in your knee so you don't hyperextend your knee. You can even place the hand on the mat if you can reach that far this morning. And then use the strength in your legs to bring your torso back up to center. We're going to turn the feet to parallel each other once again. This time we'll pick up the right heel and move it away from us. Pick up the left toes, rotate them out. This time we want our hips pointing towards the back right corner of our mats and then bringing the torso back parallel to the long edge. We're going to inhale, bring the arms up to a T, and then exhale, extend the left arm past the foot, and then fold over at the left hip crease. Hand on the shin or on the ankle or on the mat. Right hand reaching towards the sky. Maybe you can look up towards that right thumb. I find I'm a little wobbly when I do that right now, so I'm not going to, but you are more than welcome to. And then use the strength in your legs once again to bring your torso back up to center. You can bring the feet parallel to each other. Go ahead and step the feet together. Take a couple breaths here. And then we're going to go ahead and come into seated pose on the mat for a variety of different poses. Try to get my blanket lined up here a little bit better. So I have a tailbone that likes to stick out, and so when I'm in seated poses, it actually helps my hip alignment if I sit up on a blanket. So if you have a blanket, feel free to grab it, but if not, it's totally fine. I went many years not sitting on a blanket doing yoga. So we're going to start with seated forward fold. So we want to root those sits bones down like we did at the beginning of our session. Really flex those feet out in front of us. If your back to your thighs, your hamstrings are tight, you can always bend your knees here. We're going to inhale, bring the arms up alongside the ears, and then exhale and fold forward. Then we'll inhale, bring the arms back up. Exhale, the hands down. And then we'll do single-legged forward fold. So we'll bring the left heel up inside the right thigh. We'll sit up nice and tall here. Kind of rotate your torso a little bit so that your heart is in alignment with your knee. Keep the right foot flexed. We'll inhale, bring the arms up alongside the ears, and then exhale and fold forward. Again, you can bend your knee here if your hamstrings are tight. Then we'll inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale the arms down, and then we'll switch sides. So left leg extended out in front, right foot up alongside the left thigh. Sit up nice and tall. We'll inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale and fold forward. Make sure you're flexing your left foot and also make sure you're still flexing your right foot. You want both legs to be active here. So we'll inhale, come back up, lower the arms down. And then we'll sit for a wide-legged forward fold. So you probably want to turn towards the long edge of your mat and extend the legs out in front of you in a V any distance. So it does not need to be super wide. It could even be right here. It's whatever your inner thighs and your groin muscles will let you do this morning. So we'll sit up nice and tall, lift the heart towards the sky, press the feet out, flexed really strongly, and then exhale and fold forward any amount. You can place the hands in front of you. You can reach for your toes on either foot. You can bend the knees here again if the hamstrings are tight. Then we'll inhale, come back to center, and then we'll place the left arm on the left leg, or you can place it on the inside of that left leg. Keep the feet flexed. And we're going to inhale the right arm up alongside the right ear and then lean over to the left. We'll inhale, come back to center and switch sides here. So right arm on right leg or inside the right leg. We'll inhale the left arm up alongside the left ear and then lean over to the right with the torso. Should feel a nice stretch in the left side body all the way down to the left hip. And we'll inhale, come back to center. And then we'll take one more pose, especially nice for when you're on your bleed, and that's butterfly pose. So soles of the feet together, sit up nice and tall, and then fold forward any amount. So you can reach your hands out and be really active with your arms, or you can just bring your feet in or your hands into your feet. Feel free to give yourself a foot massage. So we'll inhale, bring ourselves back up, and then lay down for Shavasana for just a minute or so. So Shavasana, corpse pose. We're going to lay down on the mat. Allow the feet to splay open to a natural angle. You can bring the arms out to a 45-degree angle, or if you want a little bit more stretch in your chest across your collarbones, you can actually lay down with goalpost arms or cactus arms, as I like to call it, since we're in Arizona. Just allow your body to sink into the mat, to sink into the earth, to be supported by the earth. Begin to lengthen your inhales and exhales. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Roll over to your right side. Take a couple breaths on your side. Then bring yourself up to a comfortable seated position. I hope this practice has helped you feel grounded as you transition to the remainder of your day. The compassion, the love, and the light in me honors the compassion, the love, and the light in you. Thank you for practicing with me this morning. Namaste. And just FYI, I will be gone tomorrow evening, but I'm going to post a video around 6 p.m. if anybody wants to watch that. And that might be more convenient because it might not buffer or some of the other issues that we've had with network access and bandwidth lately. So there will be something up at 6 o'clock tomorrow night, and I'd love for you to watch it and comment to let me know that you saw it or that you practiced. Love when people are able to use the tools that we're sharing online in this time of not being able to do class in person. So until next time, take care and we'll talk to you later.